a storage facility tank on site and transfer it similar to the way propane is done. So there are serious efforts going on in this multi-county area in order to move natural gas to those of us who do not have it. Agriculture is a user, obviously, the grain dryers, the poultry houses, but we also have all of these other little businesses. And just final in closing, I also oversee the county maintenance department, and we've been plugging away at replacement of roofs and heating systems and things of that nature. We have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and a 20-year plan. So in a responsible way, Union County Commissioners have been addressing the needs of our buildings and facilities here in Union County. With that, I'm going to let John take over and talk about the fun stuff.
Well, thank you, Preston. Yeah, my areas tend more to the financial and administrative, but I've also become involved in the last couple of years in some of the more regional approaches that we have in projects. So what I want to do today is, and John's passing them around, yes, they're back, pie charts that have been listed for a couple of years. So I'm going to talk about the budget a little bit, and then I want to update you on the 911 consolidation, and then talk a little bit about a new project that we're just getting started with, which has to do with rural broadband. So as you're getting your pie charts, and I swear that if you were to take all the ones that I've ever handed out to you and stack them up and held them up to a strong light, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But nevertheless, here we go. And particularly maybe for some of you that haven't had a chance to see how the county budget breaks down. I apologize. I did hand my assistant, well, the assistant that was shared, not a clean copy of the pie chart, so you have some of my notes down the lower end of it. You can kind of disregard that. But in any case, the 2019 adopted budget, revenues $19,438,672, and of course the same for the adopted expenses. At the top, you can kind of see how that breaks down. 64% of our revenue comes from the taxes that we levy on real estate. The real estate itself millage for the county general fund is 4.56 mils. For the debt fund, which is what's being used to pay back the principal and interest on bonds, and most notably the ones for Great Stream Commons, is 0.84 mils, and we also levy a 0.16 mil charge for the county library system that generates pretty well close to $400,000 for them a year. That all totals about $12.5 million of our $19.4 million revenue. The rest of it's made up by grants, largely stuff that's flowing from the feds or the state, and some other more minor areas. Department earnings, for instance, probation charges, the folks that are under their observation for the use of electronic ankle bracelets, and they pay for them. So that's some of the income. If you've ever had to record a deed, you pay for it in the registered recorder's office. That's part of those earnings as well. And the other revenue up at the top, the kind of pinkish color, I'm going to get back and talk to you in a second, but that was a little over $1 million. So you can see the tax breakdown again in those villages that I have just spoke about. Those are levied on the total value of taxable real estate in the county, which adds up to about $2.7 billion gross There's about $470 million worth of exempt property in the county, and so there's a net taxable amount of about $2.26 billion. And so each mill, as you can imagine, is the equivalent of about $2.2 million. That total taxable valuation is up about $8 million from the previous year. On the expense side, and you know, I also need to say this is the general fund. This is the budget that the commissioners approve every year. It's got a balance, and it's got to be done by December 31st. And so this is the one that gets the most focus. This is the one that we manage and so on. But there's about $40 million that pass through the county. And a lot of that is, they're funds that come in, they come out, but they're in our custody for a period of time. And so they're all part of what we have to manage in the financial system. Almost $11 million of that is now coming from tax receipts that we collect for, I think, 8 now municipalities in the county, which includes their school funds and their municipal taxes as well. So beyond that, there's other funds that come in and out, and I have a list of them, but it would probably take up a little bit too much time right now, just for me to find it. So, down below, just kind of a brief encapsulation of what these wedges are. The administrative end of the county, that's the county commissioner's office. It's the finance function, it's planning, it's elections, it's GIS, it's the whole list of kind of the treasurer's office and so on and so forth. It's a whole list of the more administrative functions of the county. The judicial is the judicial, that's the court system, it's the prothonotary, it's the district attorney, it's the public defender, it's the district justices, and so on. Corrections is jail, probation, the treatment courts, children and youth is children and youth. General government is recycling, Veterans Affairs, 911 system, EMS, soil conservation, the History Society. Then you have employee benefits, and county agencies are the funding for things like our contributions to things like the Area Agency on Aging and the CMSU MHMR function. So, and then you can see the amount of debt too. So that is basically the breakdown of the budget. And the page behind you, you have these numbers, the real numbers that go back 5 years. So you can kind of see the trends from 2015 to 2019. You'll notice that in 2015, the total adopted revenue budget was $19.5 billion, and look what it was in 2019. Pretty much the same is true on the expense side as well. There's probably some things that the size and shape of the wedges might have changed a little bit, but nevertheless, the budget has been pretty flat, all in. I want to talk a little bit about, just so that you get a sense of what we go through in the budget process, about how we went from 2018 and a budget that was 20.8 million to